Okay, well, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
I've been tasked with trying to find out where you have seen or have found love. And when I was talking with Betty, we were trying to figure out how to record this. And uh, I was given an iPad. I was supposed to stick that in somebody's face and say, "Where have you found love? Do 2, 3 minutes on it." And I thought, oh, I would just die if somebody did that to me.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out how to do it. So we found this owl, which is a camera that will rotate with voices, and we're going to try a group conversation to answer the question, where have you found love, or where have you seen it? What examples? And I know we were just starting with a conversation before where we talked about helping a friend uh, with some caretaking, just showing up at their house. I think it was well, I'll let you guys work on it. Where have you found love?
Okay, well, I'll start. That's hard. It's always hardest to start, but our dog died last week, and one of our neighbors brought over a casserole, and one of our neighbors brought over a gift certificate for a restaurant because you don't always feel like cooking, she said, when there's a death in the family. And another one sent me a text today saying, "We have something for you when you be home." Very loving friends. And I really want to say that when I had my concussion a few years back, never in my life have I known compassion the way Mark was. Just unbelievable. Don't have words for it, but there you go.
Well, I have found love in this church. That's one of the places I have found love. I mean, everybody, from the day I came in, it was just, I felt so at home, and I found love, and I'll sit in church and I'll look, and I just love all my friends and all these, and look at the backs of their heads because I'm always in the back. But, it's just meaningful. That, and of course, my animals. I find love with them. Peace and just,
What kind of peace do you find with your animals?
they're out there. I go sit and they come and, just nuzzle or push the chair over. But
That's a sign of love.
just to be out with them, and the cat comes and will snuggle, and, I find peace in animals, very much so.
And I was late this morning because I had book club. I have book club once a month, and they know that I'm missing my quilting time. And I love my group that we go to book club with, but they were so nice to me today. They have adjusted their time because they know how important it is that I be at quilting with my friends there and with my friends at book club. So there's a lot of love between the two places. And now I won't have to miss half a day. So.
Well, and we love that you love to come.
Yeah.
And I also agree with you on the animal stuff. We get a lot of love from our animals. And they don't care how we're feeling. They don't care what we need. They will just come and be with us. And
It's unconditional love.
It's unconditional love. Even though we got to get up in the middle of the night and take them out. But,
They'd say the same about you.
They do. If one of us is gone from the house, they are looking for the other person that's missing, and they watch over us.
Well, we moved to the lake permanently 13 years ago, and I see love in the comments that I get from the grandchildren. Grandma, I can't wait to get to the lake. I love the lake, and I love being with you and Grandma and Grandpa. But I think it's the lake and the peacefulness and the time to sit and reflect on what's really important in God's creation. And the love that the children have for the lake and the grandchildren have for the lake just fulfills something in my own heart, that I know that we have given them a legacy. We've given them a common denominator that will always keep them together. And to me, that's love. You know, you experience it, you see it. And it's also chaos, you know, but we deal with that also.
But they also know that grandma and grandpa just love them. Again, you know, they don't, well, you should do this, you should do that. They just love them.
That's right.
You know, and that's important. So,
I feel love around the table here. I feel love every time I come on Tuesdays to our old ladies quilting group. So much support, so much warmth. We're able to share, we're able to listen, a lot of listening, laugh. We do laugh a lot. Just a good place to be.
It's the sharing of the good times and the bad times and the difficulties and the challenges, and when we welcome new people like Val and Deb, it's important. It is. And when I'm sitting here looking at a picture that Betty's husband Mark took of the entrance to the church in the winter with the light on, and your eyes are directed into that place of love. And we were talking again about unconditional love. It's the unconditional love of God for each of us that makes it, I think, you know, we come for the laughter and the sharing and but it's the love of God, I think, to go to a place where we know we will also be cared for unconditionally, you know, no matter how silly we are.
mm-hmm.
And we don't have to be perfect.
No,
Goodness.
that was one of the first rules in quilting. Don't worry about it. Nothing, there's no rules. And anything you do is fine.
Nobody will know.
As you were talking about your grandchildren, my phone was pinging as we were eating lunch today, and it was my son and in Colorado asking if I would crochet another blanket for their 2.5-year-old son. When my grandson was born, he received a number of blankets, but Deb made him a crocheted blanket that he took to and will not part from at all. Then there reached a point that he needed a second one of those, both at home and then with his other grandparents who do daycare, or who watch him through the day, babysit him. So he has those two, and when I was there in January for my daughter-in-law's baby shower, here I crocheted a new one following Deb's pattern, and it's soft and fleecy, that pipsqueak yarn. It's just fluffy and yeah, like a cloud. And here I felt Archer's first one, and it's kind of like a chore ball. It's been washed. He takes it to his daycare, and they have to wash it each week. So 100-some washings, and there's nothing soft about it. So my son was texting, even though Archer's 2.5, would you crochet him 2 more blankets? And I texted back, I thought the ones for the new baby, I thought you tucked him away. And you're waiting till the new baby's born. He said, we did, but Archer opened the dresser doors, found it, and now he won't let it go. So, yes. So it's love of a friend and love of the acceptance of joining a group that everyone is so welcoming and warm.
Well, this is grandchild day because when I was sewing yesterday, an unexpected or unplanned visit from from the grandchildren came over, and the 6-year-old is little girl running up the stairs. Grandma, come down here. You gotta have a muffin cupcake with me. And oh gosh, she's so excited and hyper, running around, and it's like, okay, I'm coming. Flick off the light and away we go and go downstairs. And I was thinking we were gonna have one of those little tiny cupcakes, like for birthdays or whatever you have, those little mini ones. I go down there. There's a cupcake muffin the size of a plate, and it's all chocolate, on top. And she's sitting in front of that and grinning from ear to ear. And I says, how are you even going to eat that? Because it's about this tall, this big. She says, no problem, mix it up. Chocolate from ear to ear. So love is just simple things. And
just a call from a grandson just out of the blue.
Yeah.
His love, or your kids call, just see how you're doing. I mean, that's the first heron, the first sighting of the heron on the lake. The first time you see the loons come back, or you hear the loons at night. I have woken Jack up a number of times. Said, can you hear them? Can you hear them? They're back. I mean, that to me is just is love.
Sounds of spring.
Love of this area, love of this country, and feeling so privileged to live where we live. I mean, it's just, but it's like simple things. You're baking a loaf of bread, the smell of a baking bread. And that last night I was at Chorale, singing in the chorale, and there's some wonderful concerts. You need to come in the spring. It's going to be lovely. But one of the things we're doing is a medley from Les Mis. And I cannot hear that music without crying. It's just one of those most powerful pieces of music. And you just think, oh, this is wonderful. And so that's experiencing, love of music. And I don't cry. I really don't. Very, very, very rarely. But if I hear a certain piece of music, it just dissolves me. And I think that's a form of love. So come to the concert. You'll cry too.
And someone else I think you mentioned that, but we've been to a lot of really great churches. This is the most loving church we have ever known. We hadn't been coming here very long when my sister died, and I don't know how people found out. We weren't on the prayer list or anything, but when we got back from the funeral, there were 15 cards in my mailbox. It's just such a loving, caring church.
And we're a group that still likes to send cards.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have mastered the rudiments of the internet and can send a message on Messenger, but I don't think there's anything like getting a card in the mail and opening it up and reading it and then putting the card up on the mantle or on the desk so that you look at it for a week. And I like the tangible.
I love to write letters, send cards, but I have to say it is a thing of somewhat of the past, because I have to tell my grandchildren or whoever I'm sending them to, check your mail.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I send a care box to the grandkids when in the fall for the ones that are in college. And I had heard from a couple of them. I've learned not to hear when that's just, they're thinking of me, I'm sure. But there was one year, and I think it was just last fall, and I had heard from the 3 that had opened their care boxes, with snacks and all kinds of stuff. But I hadn't heard from the last one. And so I finally thought, okay, I better check, because maybe the address is wrong. Oh no, Grandma, I haven't checked my mail for a couple weeks. I said, oh, please go over to your post office at your college. I know you have, because I have your address that your mother gave me. Go, there's something waiting for you.
Well, one of the best ways that I like to express love too is in coming here or just going through your own stash at home, going through all the fabric and creating something that shows your expression and your passion for color, design, and comfort in making shawls, knitting, crocheting, or sewing quilts, because it's so much, it gives me so much joy to give to others in that way, because I really think people appreciate it, and it's a way of sharing God's love and the gifts that he gives us, our talents, and the material, and it's a gift of love. I mean, it really is.
Well, talking about that, I can't remember what the occasion was, but we picked out a quilt for my 100-year-old mother from your stash. And it had kind of a bluish color to it, and we brought it to her, and she looked at it and kind of enjoyed it. But later I found out that that's the thing that she puts on her bed, and it's perfect. Because it's just, at 100 years old, she doesn't have a lot of strength or agility, but it's perfect on top of her bed, so she can pull it aside to take a nap and put it over the top of her without having to unmake the whole bed. And it adds just the right color to the room. So, unknowing, you have filled another niche.
And I'll never forget the day Joy and Jack stopped over at my house with a quilt.
And
After
that's
my confession.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole circle that we have of quilters, because everybody delivers quilts at different times, or if you can do it, and you just delivered one to a friend who really needed some tangible expression of love.
I have a 93-year-old friend who she's starting to have a lot of dementia and not being aware of where she is and what she's doing. And I made a quilt for her out of sea animals and seahorses and really bright blues and bright colors. Mark and I took it to her, and she almost cried. She said, "No one has ever given me anything like this." So she made Mark go into her bedroom with her and lay it on the bed, spread it out, and everybody that comes over, they have to see this quilt. And I had a text that night from her daughter who said that, "I just got to let you know Mom's in bed asleep and she's all wrapped up in your quilt." And she really loved that. And it felt so good for both of us to pass that on to her, to give her the quilt and to share that love with her. Yeah, she needed it.
Well, thank you, ladies. I hope this experiment works. But the conversation was great. And then
We took a whole sermon.
you suggested bringing it to the Men's Bible Fellowship. I might have to do that and see what happens there.
Friend's perspective.
Breakfast group on Tuesday morning.
Well, that might be a little harder to do it in the restaurant.
In the restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, this was a fun discussion.
Yes.
Thanks for beating us to it.
Well, you're the inspiration, you guys figured out. We can do this.
Quilters group.
Yeah.
The old ladies quilter group.
Now I wonder what kind of video we have. We'll have to stop it and find out.
Just don't do it.
Thank you.
Be like me, I hit the wrong button.